Hi, this is part 2 of the drive home. This is Chris. Or is it? It's January 31st, 2023. It's a Tuesday. Last day of the month at work. I kind of went over about a minute and a half to 2 minutes over the 20-minute mark on the last video, and I started to talk about DaVinci Resolve again, taking 4 videos, throwing them together as one contiguous video, and putting them back up in addition to the 4 separate ones as one long one. Not, again, it's just a practice thing right now. These 2 channels, like I'm messing around with structure and theorizing about content, but like I said, it's all about just getting into the habit of doing it. There's nothing really noteworthy on these channels yet, but I do want to practice editing together a YouTube channel. I want to practice doing the recording, so it's I'm arranging a lot of ones and zeros for no good reason. But anyway, well, I guess what I was saying when I realized I'd gone over my time limit was that I intend to do this one too, and that's when I realized I went over my 20-minute. And but I don't know if I'm going to do them both today, because there's a lot of time, whether I'm transferring the files from my phone to my desktop so I can get them, or I'm sure even downloading them, which I haven't done yet. I haven't downloaded. I've edited videos. I've edited videos on my phone, but just I've changed the way they look. Like my first few videos, during the morning videos, I did them very dark because I didn't want people see where I was. A little too overly cautious, and I was told it was much too dark, so I stopped doing that. I believe the file sizes got smaller, but they were still very large. But anyway, my point is, it's going to take me a while to transfer the, and I still don't have a good way to do it. Like there's this ridiculous ritual I have to do when I move files from my iPhone to my PC, and there has got to be an easier way. What I've been doing is I plug the phone into the computer, wait for it to recognize it, try to move files over, it fails, it says the device isn't working, I unplug it, I plug it in. I keep doing the same things over and over again 3 or 4 times, and on the 3rd or 4th time it works. No idea why, but it's the same every time. Like you have to unplug it, plug it in. Like I hate things that work when you jiggle the handle. It's annoying not knowing why it doesn't work and then not knowing why it worked. I'd prefer things just work. So like I plug it in, if I recognizes it, I can go into the DCIM file, which is like where it stores all the stuff, and that's how I move it. Like I copy it or I move it to the desktop or wherever I'm moving it. And then generally, like I've done one file, I've done a couple of files, but after that, again, it doesn't recognize the device, and I got to start the whole process over again. So that part's pretty frustrating. Moving files off of my phone is a pain in the ass. That's why I prefer to upload them directly to YouTube from my phone. It takes a while, but it saves me the trouble of moving the files to my desktop. The problem is the YouTube Studio video editor is not very robust. I've used it to clip out a couple seconds here, a couple of minutes there, on videos where there's certain things I just didn't want to be in the video, but it's not a very good piece of editing software. Whereas DaVinci Resolve is a very robust piece of software, and depending on what additional features you get when you purchase it, I may purchase it. Unfortunately, it's more of a toy. Like I have no need for, at least at this time, I don't have any need for video editing software. It just looks like fun. I have no video to edit. I mean, I've got tons of video, but none of it's worth editing. There's nothing. I mean, I can condense it, but anyway, I've beaten that joke to death. So there's where we are with that. I I'm not going to reach for it yet because there's too much traffic and too much slickeriness outside. Pardon me for the yawning, but still tired. Haven't gotten over that yet. One of the things I was thinking about, I think I mentioned this before, is one of the segments just start counting. Literally just count for 20 minutes and then go on to the next segment. Do it like a numbers station. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Break cadence every once in a while. 7. That would get old really fast for both of us. Switching lanes real fast up here. Oh, now I'm one of them. So I still haven't talked to my boss about the possibility of an additional day of remote work per week. I've been too busy to broach the subject, but I think I will. I may do it tomorrow because I'll have some extra time because I'm going to be working remotely. Did we fall on a good day? Like, we're already doing Wednesday. Thursday doesn't really work. So I'm thinking Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday, Friday would be ideal, I think, but I don't really need... No, Monday, Wednesday would be ideal, but a lot of guys won't be there on Monday. So I'm thinking Tuesday, Wednesday. I think that's probably the sweet spot. Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Friday. So this is going to be a nightmare. There's a lot of people. It's because I got a later start. That jiggling is going to drive people nuts. Can I use the cable itself to... I want to use the power cable to stabilize the camera. What was I on about? Traffic, a couple minutes late. Yeah. So, like I've said, if I get out of the building like 5 minutes late, it adds 20 minutes to my. I did not get out 5 minutes late. I was like maybe two to 3 minutes later than I would normally be, but it shows because it's generally when I get out right at the time I want to get out, at this moment right now during the day I would be on 422 already, and I'm not quite there yet. A couple of minutes away from being on 422. At least a couple more minutes. So I was talking about YouTube channels that I enjoy. AVE is a really good one if you're into that. It's probably a very specific taste. This Old Tony, Stand-Up Maths is a good one. Woman's name I can't remember, Sabine Hofstetter, Science Without All the Gobbledygook, she's good. Who else do I watch? Tons and tons of great YouTubers out there. I love Nile Red. I don't know what it is about that channel. Like, it's just, I think it's mostly his energy. He's like, I'm not learning anything practical from the chemistry or anything like that I would use in my day-to-day life. It's just, his energy is just fantastic. Fran Lab, I like her. She's pretty good. She's in Philadelphia, I think. Who else is out there that I watch? Like, I like Jay's 2 Cents. I used to like Linus Tech Tips. Something happened to that channel, and I don't know why, but I go out of my way to not watch it. There's a German guy. He doesn't always do English, so I have to watch his channel in German a lot of times. The heck's his name? Can't think of it. I'll think of it later. That's a good one. Click something. Clickspring, something like that. That's another channel I like watching. DIY Perks. That's another good one, but he has very few videos. But he makes really nice stuff. He like great ideas for projects when you watch what he does. He's a whole bunch of gooses. Like a couple of other science ones. I can't, like Nighthawk and something Elements. Well, Tech Elements is one. Those guys are pretty good. The fella's a little odd. The father, the engineer who does the show, it's just something a little odd, but it's a good show. I like it. He's does like some really neat, very seems to very scientific method-y kind of. He comes up with an idea and he follows through with the project. It's kind of neat. So anyway, I'm going to stop trying to think of them because I'm not good with names to begin with. I think if you go to my page, you can see all the stuff that I follow. This one I don't know so much. It's this isn't my regular channel. I mean, this was my older channel, but I guess I had abandoned it at one point. Forgot that I had it. Started another YouTube channel, and then since I had this one, that's when I broke up my videos into two. Morning and afternoon, early morning and mid to late afternoon. I could tell in the next segment, I could tell an abridged version of the Pink Gorilla joke. So I was going to talk about my fireplace insert. I'm pretty happy with it. It hasn't paid for itself yet. it's like a kind of a slippery slope. It's great to have an alternate. Like it's basically, I want to have a way to keep the house warm if there's a power outage, and it's a nice big insert. It works well when I'm using it. There are some downsides to it, a lot of upsides to it. Like it works really well when I'm burning wood in there, and it's got a circulator fan that runs air around the outside of the stove, so it just like blows this hot air into the room when you're running a fire in it. But I had to do like the way it's the problem you run into is when you're not using it, it's not airtight. Like the firebox is pretty airtight, but the way it's installed, it's not airtight to the chimney. So when you're not using it, what can happen is you get a draft. Like the hot air will leave like if it's cold outside but it's warm in the house, then the hot air, well, the cold air will drop down through the chimney and leak into the room, and the hot air, the warmer air, will go up the chimney. And I mitigated that by insulating the back plate of the stove where it contacts the wall, and various other spots on the stove that had that. Like I would use like electrical tape, like tiny pieces of electrical tape to fill in seams and things like that. That's the really only downside, is I don't like that it is actually, it ends up, if you're not using it, it ends up being a gap in your insulation where cold air can get in, hot air can get out. And then the first season, I actually covered it completely. Like besides insulating and closing the gaps, I also, when we weren't using it, I also had a cover that went on it, because there's also the issue that it's not airtight. It needs air from, just like a regular fireplace. Like a regular fireplace is really bad because it sucks the air out of the room, it sends up the fireplace. It's generating heat, but it's also pulling all the air out of the room, which means it's pulling cold air into the room. This is nice. It's still pulling air from the room. One of the things I want to do is eventually have it pull outside air. So I'd have to run a conduit, some kind of conduit from the outside to the base. How low can I go? To the base where it draws the air in. There's like a little thing there, and I'd like to kind of hook that to a outside air register, so it's not pulling the air from the room to heat, to burn. It's pulling outside air. I think that would greatly increase efficiency. I've also wanted to like rocket stove mass heaters. I'm not sure if you're familiar with those, but that's look them up. They're really neat, and but I don't know if I would do that where I live right now. Like if we buy a squadge of land somewhere and we're building, I really would like to incorporate that into the design of either the shed, the workhouse, or some part of the design. Have one of those put in there, because they're pretty neat. So this is the end of segment number 2. I'm going to hang up, turn it off, turn it back on, and do segment 3. Have a wonderful day.